Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to What's New with ME. You know, if you've been watching the news lately, you might feel like the world is one giant breaking news banner. War in the Middle East, storms ripping through part of America, political tensions rising between global allies, and somehow, in the middle of all of that, Hollywood still managed to roll out the red carpet and hand out golden statues. Tonight, we're going to walk through the biggest stories shaping the moment. But here's the thing about this show. We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to give you the facts, the context, and the bigger picture so you can decide for yourself what it all means. Because in a world that's loud, divided, and sometimes exhausting, understanding what's happening might be the most powerful thing that we can do. Let's get started. Segment 1, Trump, NATO, and the warning heard around the world. So let's begin with one of the biggest geopolitical developments unfolding right now. President Donald Trump is warning NATO allies that the alliance could face what he described as a very bad future if they refuse to support U.S. efforts in the escalating Iran conflict. The warning comes as the war between Iran and the United States and Israel enters its third week, with tensions expanding far beyond the battlefield. The immediate issue? The Strait of Hormuz. If you're not familiar with it, the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important waterways in the world. Nearly 20% of the planet's oil supply normally passes through that narrow corridor connecting the Persian Gulf to global markets. Right now, that corridor is effectively disrupted. Iranian strikes and military activities have made the passage extremely dangerous for commercial ships. Oil tankers are slowing down. Insurance costs all the way up. And here's the reality. Global oil prices have surged above $100 a barrel as markets react to uncertainty. We've reported on this many times before. But President Trump has reportedly asked 7 allied countries to send naval forces to reopen the waterways and escort oil tankers through the region. But here is where the geopolitical tension comes in. Several countries, including Japan and Australia, have declined to send warships. While European governments have taken a cautious approach, some leaders argue the conflict does not fall under the NATO's collective defense obligations. Others worry about escalating a regional war into something far bigger. There, I need to say it, it has 2 W's in it. And so what we're seeing right here and right now is something rare and consequential, a moment where alliances are being tested in real time. Segment 2, Iran War, Day 17, where things stand and where it's heading. So now let's take a look directly at the war itself. The conflict between Iran and the United States and Israel has now entered day 17. According to Military Update, the coalition campaign has focused heavily on destroying Iran's missile and drone infrastructure. Israeli forces say they have already targeted hundreds of military sites and more than 200 targets in a single day of strikes. Meanwhile, Iran claims it has launched roughly 700 missiles. More than 3,600 drones against Israeli and U.S. targets since the war began. The humanitarian toll is mounting. Reports estimate that more than 1,400 people have died in Iran. Hundreds more have died in Lebanon and other areas connected to the conflict. And the fighting is expanding beyond traditional battlefields. For example, a drone strike near Dubai International Airport ignited a fire and temporarily halted flights, highlighting how far the ripple effects of the conflict can travel. There are also reports of U.S. fighter jets striking military facilities near Iran Chabahar region as operations intensify. But perhaps the most important question right here and right now is this: how long could this last? Military analysts say the answer may be weeks, not days. Several experts believe the current air campaign could continue for another 2 weeks, maybe 3, as coalition forces try to degrade Iran's missile systems and command infrastructure. And until that happens, the conflict could remain volatile. Segment 3. The global economic shockwave. Now, when wars happen in places tied to energy markets, the economic ripple effects can travel thousands of miles. And that is exactly what has happened. With tanker traffic disrupted in the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices have surged. Shipping companies are reconsidering routes, and global markets are watching every development closely. The reason is simple. If the Strait of Hormuz remains unstable, the world could face higher energy prices, supply disruption, and rising inflation pressure in multiple economies. Which means this conflict isn't just a Middle East story. It's a global economic story. Segment 4. Severe storms strike the United States. Now, while international tensions dominate headlines overseas, here at home, millions of Americans are dealing with another kind of crisis: extreme weather. A powerful storm system has moved across parts of the Midwest and the Southeast, producing tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, and widespread power outages. Meteorologists say the system has already generated dozens of tornadoes and winds exceeding 150 miles per hour in some areas. Communities across several states are assessing damage to homes, infrastructure, and power grids. For many families, this week hasn't been about geopolitics. It's been about rebuilding roofs, clearing debris, and making sure neighbors are safe. A moment like this reminds us of something important. Sometimes the biggest stories in America aren't political debates. They're communities helping each other recover. Segment 5. Trump's new federal fraud task force. Back in Washington, another development is getting attention. The administration has announced the creation of a new federal fraud task force. The goal is to coordinate multiple agencies, including the Justice Department, FBI, Treasury Department, and IRS, to investigate large-scale financial crimes. Officials say the initiative will focus on government fraud, cryptocurrency scams, pandemic relief fraud, corporate financial misconduct, and organized financial crime networks. The task force is expected to bring together investigators and prosecutors to pursue cases involving billions of dollars in alleged fraud. Supporters say it could strengthen enforcement. Critics say they want to see how the investigations are applied. Either way, financial accountability is about to become a major focus in Washington. Segment 6, Hollywood's biggest night, the Oscars. So finally, while the world wrestles with war and weather, Hollywood did what Hollywood does best. It put on a show. The 98th Academy Awards took place March 15th at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, hosted by comedian Conan O'Brien. The night celebrated films released in 2025 across 24 award categories. The biggest winner of the evening was the film One Battle After Another. The movie took home 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, but one of the most historic moments of the night came with cinematographer Autumn Doral Arkapaw, who became the first woman ever to win the Academy Award for Best Cinematography. During her speech, she invited the women in the audience to stand with her, celebrating a milestone in the industry. Another headline-grabbing film was Sinners, which earned a record 16 nominations, the most of any film this year. Hollywood may live in its own universe sometimes, but nights like this, the Oscars still remind people around the world how powerful storytelling can be. And in closing, that's the world right now. A global war testing alliances, energy markets on edge, communities rebuilding after storms, and political debates over accountability, and somewhere in between all of that craziness, artists celebrating creativity on a stage in Hollywood. The world is complicated, no doubt about that. It always has been. We just have it now on social media. But staying informed without panic, without tribalism, without turning everything into a fight is one of the most important things that we can do as citizens. So thank you for taking a few minutes to understand what's happening beyond the headlines. If you want more conversations like this, more analysis, more storytelling, and more perspectives that help you see the full picture, visit us at vmestudios.net. I'm Ali Mehdaoui, and this has been What's New with ME. Good night, everyone.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.